I bought this red clay brick at the Home Depot for 88 cents because I want to know if all those knife sharpeners sold for hundreds of dollars are over-engineered solutions to a simple problem, or if they're really worth the money. Various parts of fired clay brick have a hardness in the same range as many sharpening stones. The abrasive action comes primarily from silica and alumina content. Both are hard enough to remove steel. First, I completely dull my knife. That's a dull knife. The brick is reasonably flat to the naked eye, but rough enough that my knife skips and jams as I sharpen. I am starting to see a burr. Nevertheless, I'm able to apex rather quickly and start working the other side. Definitely gritty. Sure, I'll slice some paper. Will it shave? No. $3.90. Hey, it's a big improvement on 900 whatever that it started at. Oops. For those of you who don't know what this machine is, it's called a Brubacher Edge Sharpness Scale. It measures how much pressure in gram force is required to sever this test filament here. And it's the most scientific way I have to measure sharpness. A result of 400 and above is considered in need of maintenance. 250 to 350 is where most new high-end cutlery will test. The brick didn't quite get me to that range, but it was surprisingly close. For effectiveness, I'm going to rate this a 2 out of 5. It can definitely help you bring a completely dull edge back to life, but I'm not going to be able to get as sharp as I want to get using a brick, unfortunately. Ease of use, I'm tempted to go a 3, but it's a 2. It's super simple as long as you understand the mechanics of hand sharpening, but too bumpy. And it would be really hard, probably impossible, to get to shaving sharp on this guy. Enjoyment level, 3. It's fun because it's a brick, but it would get old fast. Cost, however, 5 out of 5, meaning it's cheap, for a total of 12. We're not done here though. I'm drowning in knife sharpening systems. We've got 9 other methods to rate, ranging in price from free to $597. Let's find out which is the winner. The trusty flat stone. I'm using this dual-sided diamond sharpening stone from Sharpal. I already made a half-hour video explaining exactly how to hand sharpen using a stone like this, so I won't get too far into that here. But basically, I hold my chosen angle and grind one side of the edge until I apex and form a burr. Then I work the other side until I apex again. Finally, I alternate back and forth with lighter and lighter pressure to refine the edge, first on the coarse side and then on the fine side. Using these techniques, I got 205 on this steak knife. Oh yeah, clean shave. Now 175. And 175 on this slicer. Stropping could get this lower, of course, but we're not stropping in this video unless a sharpening system already includes a strop built in. And even then, I'm not counting that final stropped score into the effectiveness rating that I'm going to give each of these, because I don't think that's really fair to the other methods. Full disclosure, going into making this video, this dual-sided diamond stone is my preferred method for sharpening at this time. 5 out of 5 effectiveness. There's definitely a learning curve, but once you get decent at the skill of hand sharpening, it's rather quick and easy to use and to get a good result. I prefer diamond over other materials because the stone is actually a bar of steel with diamonds embedded into it, which has several advantages, including that this stone will never deform or dish. The diamonds can become loose and fall out, but if you have a quality stone like this Sharpal, it should last you years and years. They also don't require the use of any messy lapping fluid, any water, any oil, anything like that. Though right now I know there are some people in the comments criticizing me for not using lapping fluid. I'm going to tell you right here, right now, I'm not using lapping fluid for any method in this video at all. So you can go ahead and sue me. Go ahead and sue me. Rhetorical. Don't do that. Anyway, ease of use, 4 out of 5. Enjoyment level, 5 out of 5. And cost, Right now, you can pick up one of these Sharpal dual-sided diamond stones for about 70 bucks, which is, I think, a great deal, and you get a lot of value for your money. You can spend thousands of dollars on whole sets of flat stones of various materials, natural stones, water stones, stuff like that, but you don't need to. Cost, 4 out of 5, for a total of 18. Before we go further, there are 2 sharpness tests other than BESS that I tend to use when sharpening. First, slicing paper. Paper slicing is the bare minimum a knife should be able to do. If it can't do this, then it's completely dull. Of course, there are higher levels of paper slicing, but let's keep it simple for now. Paper slicing can also show me if there are any dull spots along my edge that need more work, so I can have consistent sharpness along the whole blade. The second test I use is shaving. When I sharpen, I know I'm done when I get a nice clean shave. At slightly duller levels, it will still shave, but you'll feel it kind of tugging at your follicles as you go, rather than just cleanly gliding through. You'll get a dirty shave around 250 BESS and a clean shave closer to 150, at least in my experience. Anyway, next up is the HORL rolling sharpening system. The engineering and creativity on display here is really cool. HORL is a German company, and that's where these are manufactured. The system is basically 2 parts. First, there's this magnetic base that holds your knife in place. This Pro version that HORL sent me includes a cool mechanism for adjusting your angles. Then there's the roller itself, which holds a replaceable stone on either side. You just roll this back and forth along your edge. This Pro version is actually geared such that the stones spin 3 times faster than you're rolling the actual drum, making it more efficient and fast acting than the basic version. But however cool it is, in practice, it didn't come together for me like I was hoping it would. I really wanted to like this one. I found it harder than I wanted it to be to roll the thing. Plus, accounting for the belly was not enjoyable. The directions say to roll inward as you reach the tip to account for the belly. This works, but it tends to squeal against the metal and it just doesn't feel smooth. It's not gliding smoothly along the knife. It takes force. I found myself wondering if I would enjoy the non-geared basic version more, actually. What? Okay. The final sharpness results were decent, but not as good as the flat stone, even though HORL sent me 5 different stone progressions and I went through them all, compared to just coarse and fine on the Sharpal stone. Since HORL also sent me a strop, I went ahead and gave it a few strokes, which did bring us down to 190. I used that strop to show you its effectiveness, but like I said before, I'm not including that stropped value in my effectiveness rating. I'm rating it based on the stones and what they can do to your edge. So I'm going to say effectiveness 4 out of 5. Ease of use, for me it's a 3. I know that some people out there are really going to love this. They're really going to find it a lot easier than a flat stone, but for me, it just felt awkward a lot of the time. 3. Enjoyment, this also hurts to say because I really did want to like this one. I just didn't. 2 out of 5. And cost, this is one of our more expensive systems. Altogether, everything that HORL sent me costs $597, though you can get a basic version of this for under $200, I think. You can also buy a pair of HORL scissors for $349. Oh, wait, I guess you can't buy them actually. They're unavailable now. Cost is going to be 1 out of 5 for a total of 10. I don't think I'm going to end up with that HORL sponsorship after this, unfortunately, but like I said, I do think there are people out there who are going to love this method. It just wasn't for me. It's a good thing then that this video has a different sponsor. Shan Zu provided the knives that I'm sharpening today. I got curious about Shan Zu after seeing this video from Alex at Outdoors 55.
But I gotta say, I am very surprised in this case because these 2 knives are actually extremely good quality.
So I was happy to connect with Shan Zu and use these blades for my sharpening tests in this video. I was really impressed by the array of styles and options they offer. There's really a knife for everyone here. Shan Zu sent me their White Tiger series, which includes this acacia wood and resin magnetic mounting board. These knives have a core layer of SG2 powder steel, which has a very high hardness level of around 64 HRC. That core layer is clad in 90 outer layers of high carbon stainless steel, pattern welded together to create a fetching Damascus pattern. To be honest, I've never really been a Damascus guy. My preferred aesthetic is more simple and utilitarian, but if I'm getting Damascus, I want real pattern welded Damascus, which is what this is. Shan Zu does also offer laser etched blades at a lower price. Though the pattern on those knives looks similar, it's manufactured in a different way. And speaking of this, I really appreciate that Shan Zu's product pages are very transparent. Whether a knife features the pattern welded Damascus or the laser etching, they state it clearly. There's no misleading marketing or trying to pass one off as the other, and they give you the exact steels and hardness ratings for everything. They also sent me this set of steak knives crafted with a 10 CR15 MOV steel core. The handles are made from durable, natural olive wood. They all arrived shaving sharp. I inspected the blades closely and they all have very clean edges, no signs of a burr like lesser quality knives can have from their factory sharpening. I also used the BESS tester for a more scientific evaluation. All of these knives tested from 120 to 150, which is really excellent. I want to emphasize that. I'm happy, really happy if I get to that level even after stropping on a blade that I'm sharpening. And that is rare to see those levels from the factory sharpening. But edge sharpness actually comes and goes. You can put a great edge on a poor knife and vice versa. What's even more important is knife geometry. This is a Shan Zu chef knife, and this is just a random knife we had in our kitchen. This is the spine of the Shan Zu, and here's the spine of whatever the other one is. That thickness creates a wedging action when you cut, requiring more effort for every slice, even when the edge is razor sharp. Effortless. By comparison, the svelte Shan Zu glides right through whatever I'm cutting. Check them out with my affiliate links in the description and pinned comment of this video, and use these discount codes for the best prices. Now, let's get back to sharpening. Let's take a look at this pull-through sharpener from Worksharp. Now, these get a lot of hate online. Not this one specifically, but pull-through sharpeners in general. And a lot of that is probably deserved. People complain that they remove material aggressively and inconsistently, and that the fixed angle slots grind a new edge geometry over whatever was there before, rather than following the original grind. The secondary concern is that the abrasives, especially when they're made of carbides, can leave a toothy, coarse apex that feels sharp initially but degrades more quickly than a proper edge should. But Worksharp knows their business, and I trust that they wouldn't make something that would totally maul my edge. Trust but verify, of course. This unit has a coarse diamond slot and a fine ceramic slot. It doesn't use carbides like cheaper pull-throughs. It also features the scissor sharpener. It's definitely easy to use. I like the handle and the grippy bottom. I'm not sharpening my ShanZus with it, however, because they can only sharpen at a 20-degree angle, and the Shan Zu blades are sharpened at 15. One thing that makes a knife more difficult to sharpen, no matter your system, is the belly or curvature of the blade. You see that I have to lift up the handle as I near the tip on this pull-through, and that's why. It's not much of a bother here, but you need to know to account for that curvature and keep the edge parallel to the table. Best result, 280. Very decent, and you could definitely get that down further with some stropping, which we're not doing. Hey, future Noah here. I got concerned while editing this video about the durability of an edge sharpened in the pull-through method, so I did some testing. Shaves, 290. Seems sharper than that, but let's do some cuts. That's 50 cuts, still shaves. 100 cuts. Okay, it still shaves, but not as cleanly. Still quite sharp. 295. So, similar to what it was. Did get a little duller. Now, let's try the pull-through. We're still cutting paper. Pull-through does not get you to shaving sharp in my experience. Okay, 330. Do some cutting. I repeated that same process, but with a pull-through sharpened edge. After 50 cuts on the wood, we were 330, 385. Not great. Let's do 25 more cuts. 410. We're still cutting paper, but not as cleanly. Now 100 cuts. We were at, okay, 410 again. Seems to have settled there. And I did indeed experience, at least during this one experiment, that not only does it not get as sharp, but the durability is worse. Ultimately, I'm going to have to go with 3 out of 5 effectiveness for this pull-through sharpener. Ease of use, 5 out of 5. Enjoyment, 3. Cost, at $30, it's a 4 out of 5, for a total of 15. You've probably heard of people sharpening on the bottom of a coffee mug. If you look at the bottom of a ceramic mug or plate, you'll probably see this ring of unglazed ceramic. The ceramic is a legit sharpening medium, and there's no reason that this shouldn't work. However, in practice, this was a total fail for me. I actually made my already horrendously dull knife even duller. I made it duller. I thought the mug might do better bringing a knife that was just a little dull back to life. Oof, not really paper cutting sharp either. It does seem to remove material, but I couldn't get a sharp blade. This is starting with like a 300 BESS knife, seeing if I can get it better from the mug. But again, I only made it worse. Okay. I made the belly worse. Yeah, I made the belly worse. Now I'm sure there are some mug masters out there watching this video right now, yelling at the screen, "What is this idiot doing?" Apparently they're Transylvanian. It's totally possible that I just suck at this. I admit that, but I've got a rate based on my own results. So effectiveness, well, 1 would indicate to me that it didn't do anything, but I actually made my knife worse, so I'm gonna say 0 on effectiveness. Ease of use, 1, I was frustrated. Enjoyment, it's a fun idea, but it gets old real fast, especially when it doesn't work. So 2, cost, 5 out of 5, for a total of 8. What is this idiot doing? Fixed angle sharpeners. Most tend to sell for several $100s, though you can spend over $2 grand if you really want to on a unit like this. Not this one though. This one is the TSPROF Pioneer GE Max, which I think retailed for around $400, but it's not on their website anymore. I think it might be discontinued. One of the hardest parts of sharpening by hand is holding a consistent angle so you don't end up with a wavy, jacked up edge. Every sharpener we'll see today has a different way of solving this problem. These machines hold your blade in place while you draw the abrasive stones back and forth across the blade. This model included a progression of 5 different diamond stones. One thing I dislike about this model is I have to use this dinky little Allen key to open and close the blade clamps. I do like how easy it is to flip the blade over in order to work the other side. The angle adjustment is also handy. Unlike many of the sharpeners that I'm showing today, I've actually had this one for several months, so I've used it a lot more. But despite all the engineering that goes into ensuring that you have that consistent angle, I usually get slightly worse results with this than I do with my flat stone. And that was true today as well. The final sharpness rating for the steak knife was 205, which is the same as the flat stone, so I'll give it that. But the slicer, 240. However, for effectiveness, I'll give this method the benefit of the doubt. I know it can work well, and I'll say 5 out of 5. Ease of use, it does take initial setup. It takes up a lot of space, and this wooden ball, at least at the end of my unit, kept slipping off when it arrived, so I had to do some DIY work to make sure it wouldn't come off. I'm gonna say 3 out of 5. Enjoyment, also 3 out of 5. Cost, it really depends on which one you get. Like I said, I think this one was around $400. It's a 2 out of 5, for a total of 13. The most common manufactured abrasive that you're likely to already own is sandpaper. I also have an electric palm sander, so I tried using that. I only had up to 220 grit paper in my garage, but using 120 and then 220 got me a 350 on the BESS scale. Okay. Hey, not too bad. And I see no reason why continuing to progress through finer grits of paper wouldn't get you great results, but I got lazy. I just didn't do it. You can also do this without any power tools. Just tape some sandpaper onto a perfectly flat surface like a plate of glass or granite, then sharpen as you would on a flat stone. You can check out the Scary Sharp method on Instructables for more guidance on this. If you want to see a video where I demonstrate that method and explore exactly how that works, tell me in the comments. Use the phrase Scary Sharp so I can quickly search through the comments and see how much interest there is in a video like that. Effectiveness. I am going to be lazy and give it a 5 out of 5 because I know you can get those 5 out of 5 results even though I didn't do it myself. Sue me. Again, just a flowery use of language. I would rather avoid litigation. Ease of use, 4 out of 5. Enjoyment, 3. Cost is very affordable if you're doing it by hand or if you already have a palm sander in your garage. 4 out of 5. For a total of 16. This is another product from Sharpal. And given the quality of their other products like this diamond stone here, that's my favorite, I was excited to try out this $40 TRANSFOROD. The idea here is to pack as many features and usability into as little space and weight as possible for portability. Think camping and hunting. It includes 6 rods, 2 each of 325 grit diamond, 1000 grit diamond, and ceramic. It even has a coarse strop and a fine strop, and a tapered rod for serrated blades and fish hooks, and a freaking broadhead wrench. Oh, and completely customizable angle guides. First, I'll say that the Worksharp guided field sharpener is a comparable product that a lot of people love as well, but I didn't get it because it has diamond flat stones and I wanted something that would demonstrate rod sharpening. Rods have the advantage of being better for recurved blades, but for more common blade shapes, I do prefer flat stones. It's easier and quicker to get a consistent edge with the increased surface area of a flat stone, at least for me. At first I was using this Sharpal rod like I'm used to, working one side until I apexed, then switching the knife to my other hand and working the opposite side on the same top rod. But that wasn't giving me great results, so I actually read the instructions. Sharpal recommends that you go back and forth between sides every stroke by utilizing both top and bottom rods. That's kind of obvious once you think about the design for 3 seconds, but I've been known to miss the obvious. Anyway, I achieved 240 BESS without stropping and took that to 200 by using the built-in strops. Again, I'm considering the score pre-stropping, so effectiveness, 4 out of 5. It's a dirty shape. Ease of use, also 4 out of 5. Enjoyment, 4 out of 5. And cost for everything that's packed into this small package and how well it works at the price of 40 bucks, 5 out of 5. For a total of 17. This one's a weird one if your neighbors spot you doing it. But the top cut edge of your car window is hard enough and has enough texture that you should theoretically be able to sharpen on it. 45, okay. Averaged out in the 400s. A few notes on BESS testing. For accuracy's sake, you should always apply force gradually and slowly, which I always do. You should also take 3 tests each time you're trying to test a blade and then take the middle score as the final number, while also testing the exact same point along the edge every single time. This I don't always do. I'll run 3 tests if I'm doing something brand new like sharpening on the edge of a car window, or if I get a result that doesn't seem to match what I would expect given how it's performing on paper or in the shaving test. But if I get a number that is what I expect, I'll often just do 1 test. What are you gonna do about it? Sue me? Also, you're technically supposed to tension the filament that's stretched across this gap here to exactly 100 grams. You do that by tying a 100 gram weight to the end of the filament before you tighten the filament down. I don't do that either. I just use my fingers. I tension in the exact same way every single time to get consistent results, but I don't use the weight thing. You can buy pre-tensioned clips to do this instead of having a spool of the filament, but that seems wasteful to me to throw out a clip every single time I use one, so I don't do that. Sue me. Don't do it. Car window effectiveness, 2 out of 5. Ease of use, 3. Enjoyment, 4. It was pretty fun. Cost, 5 out of 5, baby, for a total of 14 somehow. And our final entrant, representing belt sharpening. It's another Worksharp product, the Mark II Ken Onion Edition Powered Knife and Tool Sharpener. This little beast includes several different grit belts, and I found them easy to change between. It also has angle guide adjustment from 15 to 30 degrees. Being powered, it works fast, which is a good thing. because I was accidentally sharpening my Shan Zu at 20 degrees.
Shit.
Luckily, it took hardly any time at all to reprofile back to 15. Keep in mind that these are slack belts, so your edge bevel will end up with a slight convexity. This isn't at all a bad thing, but you should be aware of it. Worksharp did send me the Elite Edition, which includes this blade attachment to the base. And this uses wider belts, it doesn't have angle guides. It's great for larger tools, removing a lot of material, reprofiling, and getting custom convex bevels. I didn't use it for this video, but I am looking forward to playing with it soon. Effectiveness. This one is very fast and effective at getting the job done, but I didn't get as sharp as I did with the flat stone, so 4 out of 5. Ease of use, 4, and I'm only knocking it down from 5 because it does kick off a significant amount of steel dust as you're working, so you probably don't want to use it inside your house. Enjoyment, also 4. And cost, well, there are several levels to this same sort of offering that you can get from Worksharp, and you can spend anywhere from about $100 to $300, none of which is a bad price for what you get, but still, compared to our other options on this list, 3 out of 5, for a total of 15. There we have it, the final list. The overall winner is the Sharpal double-sided diamond flat stone. Am I biased, or did I just already prefer it because it's the best? I'll let you decide. But let's trim off those that aren't at least a 3 out of 5 effective. And finally, let's narrow it down to the methods I'd actually use myself and recommend. First, the flat stone method. Yes, it takes some time to develop the skill to get good results on this, but let's be honest, all of these take some learning and some skill. In my opinion, this is the purest, simplest, and most effective sharpening solution. If you're at all interested in sharpening, get one of these or something like it. Next rec is the Sharpal TRANSFOROD or the Worksharp utility sharpener. Everything that you need to get great results fits in the palm of your hand. This one is perfect for those who are wanting to sharpen on the go or for whom space is at a premium. This Worksharp pull-through sharpener I would not recommend to someone who considers themselves a hobbyist in sharpening, because it's just not going to get you the kind of results that you probably want if that's a passion of yours. But for someone who wants to learn and spend as little as possible and get good enough results quickly, I think this is great. The sandpaper method. Great for woodworkers who already have a ton of sandpaper grits lying around, or for those who like DIY projects and want to spend less money on sharpening than they would if they were buying a complete system like a HORL or a fixed angle, or even one of these dual-sided diamond stones. Again, comment below scary sharp if you want me to make a full video exploring the sandpaper method of sharpening. Finally, the Worksharp powered sharpener is what you should get if you have a shop filled with tools that you want to keep sharp, or you need to sharpen in bulk. This is what I would reach for if I was sharpening all my friends' kitchen knives for them, for example, or if I wanted to reprofile an edge to a different angle and then maybe finish it up with some fine work on the flat stone. The 88-cent brick, unfortunately, does not make the final recommendation cut, but it was a worthy starting place and hopefully good for the thumbnail. You'll find affiliate links for all of these down below, and remember to check out Shan Zu knives. I really have been enjoying them, and they have a permanent place in my kitchen now. Use the links down below, and remember to use my discount codes for the best price. I will also hedge a bit here at the end and say that I didn't spend more than 20 or 30 minutes with most of these sharpening methods. Don't consider this a full review of each of these products, more like a first impressions. I'm just a passionate hobbyist with a lot of opinions to share, but I hope this video helped you decide which sharpening system and method is the right one for you. Watch this video next if you want to learn everything you need to know to get your knives razor sharp with a flat stone.